Welcome back to another video. I'm Nate Hogan. This is day 9 of the March Marathon. We got a different style of video today. This video, I don't have a presentation because I don't feel like it needs a presentation. This is just going to be me talking about my experience, talking about the importance of living from the wish fulfilled, talking about just some experiences I've had overall. This is going to be more of a personal video, not so much about laws, because I wanted to switch it up a little bit. And then honestly, I didn't want to make slides. I was like, you know what? I just want to talk from the heart and, talk about what I want to talk about. So here we are. So, living from the wish fulfilled. This is probably the most difficult thing you will face on your journey to success, right? Because basically, you are having to live a false life. You are having to live and act like the person you want to be before you are that person, right? And so, it's a very difficult balance of living like you already have the desires that you're chasing, but then also working toward them, right? Because if you're just always chasing them, you're telling yourself that you don't have them, okay, right? Because if you say you want to make $1 million, say you have $1 million in your bank account, you're not chasing millions. You already got it, right? So it's hard because you're basically living two lives because you're like, oh yeah, I already got it, but then you're also like, okay, what steps can I take to take me there? And so this is literally probably the hardest thing because you don't want to get too much in the fact of like, oh, I already got it, and then you're like, oh, I don't have to do anything. Wish is already fulfilled. I don't have to do anything. But then you also don't want to be like doing so much that you don't let God take any control, right? Because if you are working, 18 hours a day, you're not leaving any time for God to talk to you. You're not leaving time for him to show you the way. You're not leaving time for your seeds that you've planted to grow because you're just walking all over them every single day. You plant the seeds and then you're just stomping on them. But you have to just let them grow, right? So you have to find the balance between working towards your goal but also working from the goal. Like you already have it, you're not chasing it because your wish is already fulfilled. And so I kind of want to talk about an experience I had today. So I mentioned in my other video, I filmed multiple videos today, but in my other video, I was talking about how I was kind of having a crappy morning. I wasn't really, nothing bad happened, but I just wasn't in the best mood. I wasn't really feeling it. Things weren't, I was kind of like, oh, whatever, having these negative thoughts about my future situation. And then I went to the gym and I was like, no, like I have control over my mind. I'm going to take this over, right? I'm not living from my wish fulfilled right now. I'm beating myself up because I'm not where I want to be. So obviously, if that's the case, I'm not living from the wish fulfilled because I'm telling myself I'm not where I want to be. And so I just took a minute and I just like sat in my truck and I was like, okay. And I just literally chilled for 2 minutes, just relax, just be present. And then I just started imagining the life that I'm going to be living, right? I started thinking about it. I started picturing myself living where I want to live, making what I want to make, helping people out, having clients of mine and all this. And then it was like you flip a switch, right? Because I changed the image in my mind. And so now I'm telling myself like I'm already that person, right? I already have it. I already make what I want to make. I already live where I want to live. Like it's already done. Because really it is done. So that's why this is such a weird balance because creation is finished, right? So everything you want is already here. Everything you've ever desired, everything the life you want to live, the version of you is already here. The only difference between you and the future you and the you want to be, the you that is living your dream life, is your frequency and your amplitude of vibration. So it's already created. It's already here. So you're not trying to create, right? You're just trying to become. And so you have to realize that in order to become, you have to become. It's like the reaping and sowing. If you're not going to give, but if you're going to give, if you're not going to get, if you're waiting to get before you give, right? You're waiting to give back to people, but you're like, once I make this much money, then I'll start giving back. Once I have this, then I'll start giving back, right? You're never going to get because you're not giving. You have to give first. You have to give first. You have to give first. So this is the same way. You have to become before you have. You have to give, right? You have to change yourself. You have to become who you want to be before you've received what you are looking to receive. And this is not an easy task by any means. And I don't think you can ever really perfect this because I think you're always working toward improving on this skill. But it's kind of like, but once you not master, but once you experience living from the wish fulfilled, it's life changing because you'll realize your energy is like a whole nother level. You're always excited. You're always on a high frequency, and good things come to you because you are operating as the person that you want to become. So you're attracting everything that's on that frequency. And so the way I've kind of found to, and I didn't plan this video at all, by the way, I'm just talking. So if I have any pauses, that's why, but I'm just talking from the heart. But so, you need to obviously know where you want to go. You want to know what your goals are. And then you have to become, right? So you want to start visualizing, like, say first thing in the morning, you want to start your day off. You want to start thinking about the life you're going to live. Like, see yourself living that life, see yourself making that money, see yourself running that business, whatever it is. And then just kind of tell yourself, like, it is done. Like, it's already done. Like, I already got it. Right? I already got it. It's already me. And you have to think, talk, walk, everything like the person you want to be. Act like that's already your present. Right? So if you're going to do something, ask yourself, you know, if I already had what I'm looking to have, would I be doing this? And then that's how you start to become the person you want to be, because you are taking the actions, you are taking the steps that you would take if you already were that person. So that is obviously going to bring you closer to being that person in the physical world. So you ultimately have to, like, the method I use to actually get into the state of the wish fulfilled, and then, because then once you get into it, it's a lot easier to hold it. But getting into it is the hard part. So you want to see yourself living that life. You want to see yourself, driving that car, living in that house, making that money, whatever it is. I don't care what it is. You want to see that, and then you kind of want to tell yourself, like it is done, like it's already here. It's already my reality. And you want to feel it, like the wish fulfilled is not a feeling of, it's not the feeling of getting, like if you want a car, it's not the feeling of getting the car, right? It's not the feeling of excitement, because you're not gonna, after a month, the car is gonna feel normal. Everything's gonna feel normal. The money's gonna feel normal. Whatever it is, it's gonna feel normal. So you don't want to feel, just try to hold like an excited state all day, because it's not gonna work, right? You're not gonna be able to be excited 24/7. That just doesn't work. So it's more of a neutral feeling. It's a peaceful feeling, knowing like, like I'm doing, like I'm planting the seeds, God's doing the rest. Like it's kind of that state. Like it's a peaceful feeling, knowing that the good that you desire is coming to you, but you have to act like it's already here. So you have to talk, and like in your mind, you want to constantly be repeating like, oh yeah, so if it's a money goal, say you want to make 10,000 a month, and then, you want to, something about money comes up, you have an expense. And normally you would kind of stress about it, right? Normally you're like, I don't want to pay my rent. Like, rent's coming up. Oh, that's going to hurt, right? Just remind yourself, like, oh no, I make 10,000 a month. Like, that's nothing, right? Because when you change your attitude based off of how much money you're going to be making, your attitude, right? Your thoughts, feelings, and actions is going to determine the way money is towards you, because money is an idea. Money is energy. Everything's energy, right? I've went over this in my other videos. So money is just an idea. And I know it sounds silly, but it is. So when you are acting that way, when you're acting, I don't want to say carelessly and recklessly, but that really is, because you don't want to be attached to money. If you are hoarding money, that's not good. Like, obviously you need to save money, but you don't want it to be sitting. Even if you're saving money, you want it to be invested, you want it to be moving, because movement, you want energy to be moving. Energy needs to be moving, or else it will move away from you. If your money is sitting, it's going to find places to go, I promise. So you have to keep your money moving, even if it's, just basic investments, whatever it is. But that's beside the point. But you have to start just thinking from that point of view, which it takes time. Obviously, you're reprogramming your mind to probably a whole different level, right? Like my personal goal is to make 100,000 a month. And I know for a fact, like it's already coming to me. I'm going to put in work, right? I'm trying. I have multiple avenues. I have a ton of different ways I'm making money. And so I'm not saying I'm going to make that doing what I'm doing right now, but I'm constantly expanding into new things and constantly finding these new ways, because I'm thinking on this higher level. I'm thinking of how I can accomplish things I've never done, because I know I'm gonna have to take actions I've never taken before. So now when it comes to spending money, or it comes to giving back or anything like that, I just tell myself, like, you know what, I make 100,000 a month. I make 100,000 a month, and guess what? You will always be replenished of what you spend. Now, not saying to do anything stupid. That's not what I'm saying. But like, if you normally would stress about rent, right? But just pay your rent. You're like, oh yeah, I make 100,000 a month. It doesn't matter. You will always make more money. The money's going to come if you have that attitude, right? If you are faking it, which you're probably going to for a little bit, but if you're faking the attitude, maybe it doesn't come back. But I promise you, it's crazy. It is crazy how this works. But when you're more careless in a good way, when you're careless in a way of like, I'm not attached to money, because you can't be attached. You can't love it, right? Money can't be your everything. But when you just kind of take a step back, and you're just kind of like, money flows to and through me with ease, right? Like I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to stress about it. Money comes to me as I need it. Money comes to me abundantly. When you have this attitude, it does come abundantly, and you are living in the wish fulfilled, and money's going to flood you. Like Napoleon Hill says in Think and Grow Rich, money is going to come in such huge quantities, you're going to wonder where it's been. That's literally how it goes. So you have to change your attitude, and that's the biggest thing I've done for myself, is anytime something comes up, if it's anything financial, I'm like, oh, I make 100,000 a month. Who cares? And because it never really matters, right? You realize that most expenses. I mean, obviously there's situations where there's big financial burdens, but like in my life, I'm not facing these situations where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna file bankruptcy. Like, it's not that. It's like paying your rent, paying your truck payment, paying for gas, paying for this and that. Oh, the gas prices. Who cares? I make 100,000 a month. I don't care if gas is $8 a gallon, right? You have to think like it's little things like this where you change your attitude and you let money flow through you easier. If your goal is to do with money, you let money flow through you easier. Money will come to you easier. I've had the best months of my life the last few months. Like, money, made more money than ever before. And you could say it's a coincidence. No, it's because I'm allowing money to flow through me, right? I'm giving more to people than I normally give. I'm giving back. I'm buying stuff. I'm not worried about it because I know it comes back to me. And guess what? It comes back to you in greater quantities than you spent it. That's literally how it works. And I know it sounds stupid, but it's true. Because if you're hoarding money and you're like, oh man, oh, don't take my money. I don't want to pay my rent. Oh, don't take my money. The money doesn't, it can feel that you're holding on to it. You have a scarce mindset. So it's going to be scarce to you. You're going to remain in the same spot or worse because you're going to be moving backwards. So the biggest thing I could say is to get into the wish fulfilled. Sorry, I'm just kind of ranting. That's kind of the video I wanted to make, honestly, because sometimes I say the best stuff when it's just completely unplanned. So how to get into the wish fulfilled. My thing would say, step one, in the morning when you wake up, journal, right? Journal. I journal every morning. And you write your dream life. Write it out. But like, make sure you set enough time for this where it's not rushed. And just like, feel yourself living the life you're writing, right? So if you, like for me, I want to move, I want to make more money, whatever. So I'm writing and I'm thinking about the life I'm going to be living. I'm seeing it, I'm feeling it, right? I'm like, oh yeah, this is the life I live. I'm going to be doing this and this. And just let your mind kind of wander. Like, let yourself just write, whatever. Like, you're like, oh yeah, today I'm going to, go to the gym and go, whatever it is that's going to be you living in your future life. You want to make that as like solidified and realistic as possible. And then you want to see yourself living that life, because if you're just writing unemotional words, like I talked about in my last video on the goal cards, if you're just reading words and writing words with no emotion, it doesn't do anything. But if you are thinking from the wish, if you do that, right? So you're basically waking up and you're setting who you are. This is me, right? Although it may not be your physical reality, this is who I am inside, because what is within is going to be expressed without. So you want to set yourself up like, this is who I am, right? This is how much money I make, whatever. And then throughout the day, just constantly be thinking about it. That's why the goal card is so important, because it keeps you thinking about it. So just constantly be thinking about how that is your reality, even though it's not your reality, okay? It sounds silly, but it's true. So if your goal is a money goal, right? All day throughout the day, just be like, oh yeah, I make 100,000 a month. I make 100,000 a month. I make 100,000 a month. I don't care. I make 100,000 a month, because you are bringing that energy. You are on that frequency. If you're truly thinking that way, if you're truly feeling like you make that, you're on that frequency, and you will attract all the money you need to attract to get there, and all the situations you need to get there. You will attract through the bridge of incidences, you will get there. And so that's why it's so difficult, because you want to be taking action, right? So I'm not saying write down a goal, become that person, and then just like lay in bed all day, scroll TikTok, watch YouTube, and then all of a sudden you're going to be rich. That's not what I'm saying. Like right now I'm making this video, right? I made multiple videos today. I'm going out of town this weekend, so I made like 3 videos today. I made a bunch of presentations. I'm making like 10 TikToks. I'm doing all this stuff, right? So I'm still working. I'm doing stuff, but you also need to work in the spiritual world, not just in the physical world, because if you only work in the physical world, you're only going to move at the physical world's speed, which is really slow. But the spiritual world doesn't have time. So if you're working in the spiritual world, if you're becoming a millionaire or whatever in the spiritual world, you are moving in rapid speed. You could do a whole month's worth of work in the spiritual world in like an hour in the physical world, right? Because me spending time like thinking and visualizing and reprogramming my mind, that is taking me quantum leaps ahead, versus if I'm just sitting here all day long grinding. Like, this isn't normal, but like so it's balance, and it's not easy to balance. Like, I'm not saying this is easy. And I went through a phase where I was just like, oh yeah, I already got it. And so I was so chill, but too chill. Like, I was too relaxed. And then I kind of like fell off. Like, I wasn't posting as many videos. I wasn't really putting as much effort in, because I was like, oh, I already make the money, whatever. But then I was like, no, like, this isn't the life I want to live. Like, I'm a hard worker. Like, I want to be, helping people out. I want to be making videos, whatever. So I kind of use that as a lesson, it was a lesson for me to learn about balance, because then like today and yesterday I've been making so many videos to prepare to go out of town, so I don't have to be posting videos and making videos in a hotel room. So I've been working like a ton. I've been making tons of videos, writing tons of slideshows, presentations, all that. And So it's like this is an example of overworking, because overworking will never get you there, right? You can work overtime. It's not going to get you where you want to go. It's all about the spiritual jumps, but you also have to take inspired action. So for me, I'm operating on the frequency, that I make 100,000 a month, that I have a bunch of clients I'm helping help them achieve their goals and helping them to live their dream lives. So I'm operating on this frequency. Ignore that car if you can hear it. But so I'm operating on this frequency, and so I'm getting these ideas, and it was like, oh, do a March marathon, post a video every single day, post 3 TikToks a day, like just see what happens, just experiment, And I had never posted a YouTube video, and I was like, I'm gonna post one every single day. I didn't even know how to do it. I had no idea. But right, these are the thoughts you get when you're operating on that frequency. When you're telling yourself you want to achieve these things, you are getting these ideas, but you have to accept them. You have to take action. So living in the wish fulfilled basically allows you to hold that frequency of the wish that the wish that you want to be fulfilled. You're able to hold that frequency, which will attract everything you need to attract to get there. And it will increase your mood, because if you're truly able to master this and you're able to live in a fantasy land, right, in your head, if you're like, oh yeah, I make 100,000 a month, I travel the world, I make money on my phone, I have tons of clients, money comes to me with ease, money comes in such abundance, I don't even know what to do with it. You're gonna be in a good mood. You're gonna be in a good mood if that's the way you're thinking, like all these positive thoughts. And guess what? When you're in a good mood, when you're thinking positive thoughts, good things are gonna come your way. So I know this is kind of a rant, and I don't even know that I really covered the topic, but living in the wish fulfilled is probably the most difficult thing you can do, but it is the most important. Because if you are saying you want to be this person, I want to make, like for me, I said I want to make 100,000 a month, which might sound ridiculous. It used to sound crazy to me. Now I'm like, that's only, I've broken it down. Like, oh, that's not even that hard. I have this, and then I do this and this, and then, I got it. And so that's what happens is when you write these goals and you make that your present reality, your perception adjusts to it, and that becomes normal, and it's not crazy. Like 100,000 a month doesn't sound crazy to me. That's most people's yearly salary, but that doesn't sound crazy. Now, have I hit it? No, I'm not saying I've hit it, but it doesn't sound far away. It seems normal to me, which guess what? It's going to come into my life. It's going to become my physical reality. So but if you are thinking like, oh, if your goal, I make 100,000 a month, and then you're acting like someone, and you're thinking like someone who makes 1,000 a month, or I don't know, nothing. Say you're someone who makes no money, and you're thinking these thoughts down here, you're gonna attract the things in the same cycle, right? You're gonna attract things that the same life you've been living if you're thinking down here. So you have to set your intention up here, see yourself living that life. And then just constantly throughout the day, remind yourself, consciously remind yourself like, oh yeah, I make 100,000 a month. I make 100,000 a month. I make 100,000 a month. I don't care. You have an expense. Oh, I don't care. I make 100,000 a month. And it sounds stupid, but it works like crazy. It works like crazy because it's a reminder to yourself like, oh yeah, who cares? Right? And then guess what? The money will come because you're not attached to it. You're not stingy. You don't have a poverty mindset. Money comes to you. You know that God will fulfill all of your desires. This is the key to success right here. Neville Goddard, and his material is really good. He does have a little different opinion, but this statement, living in the wish fulfilled, is so important. So again, I know I already recapped, but know where you want to go, and then you have to set yourself in that frequency, set yourself in that situation, and act. You're acting, right? You have to become a great actor, because that is how you're going to become the person. That is how you're going to become who you want to be. You have to act before it is your physical reality, because the spiritual world then turns into the physical world, and you tap into the spiritual world through your intellect, which is your imagination. So you're imagining yourself living this life that allows you to bring the spiritual world into the physical world. Sorry to go on a little other rant, but yeah. So if you have any other questions, if you want me to go more in depth on this, if you want me, any requests you guys have, I'm more than happy. If you want to see a different video idea, I think I'm gonna get a whiteboard so I can draw stuff out for you guys and really teach and go over different topics. Because I get really into this stuff, and it's hard because I can't on my slides I can't point or really. But yeah, so I hope you like this video. New video every single day this month. If you have any requests, put in the comments below. And if you want one-on-one coaching, DM me on Instagram. Now, I'm not here to sell you a course. This is not a course. I am here to help you apply these principles one-on-one, because so many people learn all this material, read all these books. Oh, I've read all these books and nothing's changing, because you're not applying the material. So I'm going to help you apply the material to ultimately change your life and, create whatever life it is that you desire, because you can live any life, right? You are God's greatest creation. Remember that. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You can do anything you put your mind to. Any image you hold in the mind will move into form. Use your creative abilities that God has given you. And, spirit is always trying to express itself through you. That is why you have these desires to grow. Let it express itself, okay? You have spiritual perfection within you. And like I said, you were created in God's image. So don't tell yourself that you have to live a life you don't enjoy. Don't live a life, where you're not making enough money, you don't have enough food on the table. You are so much more than that. You are so much better than that. You are capable of achieving anything you desire. And I want to help you do that. So if you need help, DM me on Instagram, but also subscribe. I will be posting videos every single day that will help you grow in the mindset realm, because everything starts in the mind, right? We are first spiritual before we're physical. So you can change anything on the physical, but if you're not changing spiritually, ultimately everything's going to resort back to your old ways. So subscribe for more, and I'll see you tomorrow.